Okay, we're live, I think. That's good. Cool. Let's just get this done. Hang on. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're live. Okay, so looks like we've got a viewer already. Maybe not. Come say hi if you're about. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I've got to be honest, to start this off, I am well out of the loop at the moment. Well, not out of the loop, but basically, I've been on holiday for the last couple of. Oh, Nigel Pearson. Hi, Nigel. How are you? Hope you're well. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Yeah, I just wanted to say quickly, I've been on holiday for the last week or so, so the channel's been a bit quiet. Been keeping up, been in the Lake District and stuff. So bloody hell, a lot's happened, doesn't it, in football over the last couple of weeks. Want to go for a few of them topics today. A few Spurs bits, a few bits about Lionel Messi, City signing Grealish, the Charity Shield final. So if you've got any questions you want to ask me, obviously come get involved. Leave a question in the comments in the live chat. I'll be happy to to discuss that with you and stuff like that. So yeah, hope you're all keeping well. I'll just turn this music down 1 second. Okay, Google, turn the volume down. Here we go. So first thing I wanted to discuss was Spurs. Obviously, I'm a Spurs fan. The huge news that they agreed a deal to sign Christian Romero from Atalanta for big money right at the beginning of the week. Fabrizio Romano, Alistair Gold, and a couple of others basically come out and said, a fee had been agreed with Atalanta. It was very much quite a lot of money up front. And then there were a few add-ons, a few bonuses and stuff like that. It looks like it was around 44.5 million pounds. Not sure if that includes bonuses and add-ons as well, but got to be honest, at the beginning of last week, it looked as if Atalanta were holding out for about 55 million. So to get in for about 5 million under that is quite impressive. The structure of the deal is quite interesting as well, actually. Spurs basically said that it was a 6-year deal that Romero had been agreed. Sorry, not 6-year, 5-year deal that Romero had agreed. But what it looks like we've done is agreed a 1-year loan deal with an option to buy. That is obviously going to get triggered in January, but it just gives Spurs a little bit more money to play about with this summer instead of having to pay all the money up front and subsequently, transfer targets being diluted because of the money that's going out for Romero as a result of that. So, that all got announced. It all got unveiled on Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe it was. He goes by the nickname of it. You have to excuse me if I've butchered this, but it's either Cuti or Chuti Romero. Obviously, really happy with it. It's hopefully one of a few defensive signings that come in for Spurs this season because, my God, we need some help at the back. Obviously, all due respect to Dyer and Sanchez, we really do need. We really do need some help at the back there. Obviously, Joe Rodon will be there as well. But that brings me on to one of the other points as to what formation Nuno is going to be playing this season at Spurs. Obviously, Nuno was He was very, very in favour of five at the back with three centre halves at Wolves. Connor Cody and Willy Bolly and those kind of guys. Hi, Amy P. Hope you're all keeping well. And Nigel's still there as well, I think. Amy just been saying, if you've got any questions about anything that's been going on over the last couple of days, then please come and get involved. Drop me a question. Be happy to answer them. But just discussing about Romero joining Spurs, how he's going to fit in there. Like I say, at Wolves, Nuno preferred three at the back. Connor Cody, Willy Boley, and a couple of others were there as well. I think Max Kilman was a centre half as well, wasn't he? If we do play three at the back, then we do need another centre half. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Obviously, with Toby going, I think Romero is the Toby replacement. We still need another centre back there to help, the others out, because I don't think that Sanchez and Dyer are of a top four standard that will help us challenge for trophies this season. That leads me on to the Tottenham versus Arsenal game in the Mind Charity pre-season friendly series that took place over the last couple of weeks. Spurs played Arsenal. It was yesterday at White Hart Lane, or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, if you want to give it its official name. We won 1-0. Spurs won 1-0 with a first half goal from Heung-min Son, who has slotted straight back into pre-season and the squad absolutely brilliantly. He is going to be an absolutely key player for us this season. I know someone who went, and apparently Spurs played 4-4-2, which was very, very interesting. He played Reguilon and Tanganga at fullback. I think that the Reguilon one obviously is a shoo-in, given how good he is, or how good he can be. Sergio Reguilon. The one at right back is quite interesting. Obviously, with Japhet Tanganga at right back, you've got Serge Aurier and Matt Doherty, both, more recognised right backs, I think you could say. The fact that he went with Tanganga at right back is quite interesting. Apparently, he had a fantastic game as well, which is obviously really, really good to see. He's come up through the youth academy, Tanganga, and stuff like that. So, it's obviously really, really good to see. He has been linked with a loan move away to Galatasaray, Tanganga, but has he done enough to convince Nuno that he can be part of a back three or a back four this season at Spurs? I mean, he can't be any worse, with all due respect to Matt Doherty, who had a shocking season last season, didn't he? I just wonder if Nuno's got a plan there for who he's going to play at right back. Obviously, we've been linked with Takahiro Tomiyasu, who is a Japanese right back or centre back who plays for Atalanta in Syria. There was talk that we'd agreed a deal with him and he would join after the Olympics, but that's gone a bit quiet, and we've not really been linked with any other right backs. So that does make me wonder if maybe Nuno has turned round and said to Paratici and Steve Hitchin, look, I don't need a right back. I've already got Tanganga here. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens with that one. But we played 4-4-2. Oliver, Skip and Pierre in the middle. Skip, as you know, if you've been watching the channel, I'm a massive, massive fan of Oliver Skip. I think he could be a future Spurs captain. He could be a future England international regular. He is a really, really good central midfielder, and I've got high, high hopes for him. The 4-4-2 is quite interesting, to be honest. Obviously, all the questions are going to be about who are going to be the two up front. I think that Sonny will probably be one of the two, but there has been talk, obviously, about the whole Harry Kane saga, which is going to stretch out and drag on over the summer. Obviously, we've got Man City on Sunday. He's not going to play a part in that game, I don't think. If I'm being completely honest, I think that depending on how the talks go today, how the talks with Harry Kane go today with Nuno, there are talks at Spurs Lodge between a player and a manager for the first time. I think that, Harry is going to say to Nuno, look, I still want to go. My heart's not really at Spurs anymore. I want to try something different. I want to go to City. I think that'll be the end of Harry Kane. If he says he's not committed anymore, then I think it is time for him to move on, get the money and go for someone like Vlahovic at Fiorentina or Lautaro Martinez at Inter Milan would be my two picks. I don't know too much about Vlahovic, to be honest, but YouTube accounts such as Tifo and Bleacher Report and stuff like that rate him very, very highly. I would rather have Lautaro Martinez. There were a few talks yesterday that we've come out and agreed a fee with Inter Milan for Lautaro Martinez. about 85 million euros, but I'm really not sure about that one. That seems massive, massive money if we haven't sold Kane yet. So we'll see about that one. But yeah, the two up front would be very, very interesting. Obviously, like I say, I think Sonny would partner either Harry or someone else who comes in up front. So we'll just have to see what happens with that one. We've got a question from Amy P here. I honestly think we are done with the window. It's not fair to judge players who played under Mourinho. Thanks for your statement, your question, Amy. That is a very interesting point that you make about the signings that played under Mourinho, because obviously it went very wrong very quickly there, didn't it, for Jose? He obviously brought in a certain profile of player who, fit into a system, which may not suit the player, suit the kind of football that Nuno wants. Obviously, last season, players like Reguilon, who I mentioned earlier, had a very, very poor season under Mourinho, but he plays a style of football which doesn't allow fullbacks to bomb on from deep and stuff like that, which is, Reguilon's natural game. If you go and look at him at Sevilla, he was absolutely world class at what he did, bombing forward from fullback and stuff like that. So, I do actually agree with you with that. I do think that we need to give people, a bit more of a chance this season. Obviously the Ndombele thing is a little bit different, isn't it? It looks like, again, Nuno doesn't rate Tanguy Ndombele, so I think that his time at the club is coming to an end. But there are a lot of players there who, do need I think they need a fresh chance, or, they need to be moved on either on loan or permanently out of the club. I think we do need more than just Christian Romero to come in and refresh his squad, because there is a lot of stagnation there. Amy, players like Winx, Sissoko will be given one more chance. It's interesting about Winx and Sissoko. Obviously, Winx was linked with a bid. I think it was 25 million or so, wasn't it, earlier on in the window? Players teams like Villa and Everton, I think, wanted him 25, 30 million. That looks to have died off. So I think Winksy will get another chance in the squad this season. I don't think he'll play. I think that there are a lot of other options who will probably get in ahead of him, such as, like I say, Oliver Skip, Giovanni Lo Celso, Højbjerg's there as well. So it'll be interesting to see just how far down the pecking order he actually is. As for Sissoko, I think Sissoko will move on. I think that a move has probably been lined up for him already. There's been talk that, he might go back to France, to somewhere like Nice or Marseille. So we'll see what happens with that one. But I think he's on quite a lot of money, isn't he, Sissoko? So we'll have to see, whether Paratiki can work some magic and get him moved on to free up some wages to, maybe bring in another midfielder or something like that. But you will see what happens with that one. But going back to Spurs, like I say, the 4-4-2 that was played yesterday was quite an interesting indication as to how we might line up against City on Sunday. I think that looking at the Charity Shield final, well, there wasn't really a final, it was just a one-off game, wasn't it, against Leicester? City looked leggy. There was a couple of chances. I think when Mahrez was through in the first half, he looked like he was running in treacle, and a few of their players do look quite tired. Obviously, they've still got Kevin De Bruyne to come back, Phil Foden, and a couple of the other lads, haven't they? John Stones, and some of the lads from the Euros aren't quite fit yet. But Benjamin Mendy at left back is still all over the place. They don't have the strength in depth that you would expect. Obviously striker-wise, they played Ferran Torres through the middle on when was it? Saturday? Yeah, I think it was Saturday. I've lost all track of days. I apologise. But they played Ferran Torres through the middle, and I think in the Premier League you need a little bit of physicality and stuff up there. So it might be the perfect time to play Man City. Obviously, they still might be a little bit undercooked. But yeah, it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens in that first game on Sunday at 4:30 kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll have to see what happens there. So yeah, that's the Spurs roundup. It's very, very interesting development. So I'm very, very curious to see exactly what happens with the Nuno and Kane talks today. like I said to you earlier, I'm pretty sure that Kane's going to just turn around and say, "Look, nothing's changed. I still want to move on." If I did have a feeling that when the news about Messi broke on Thursday, Friday, I did just wonder whether that would be bad news for Harry Kane. Whether City might. Yeah, cheers, Amy. Yep, bye. See you later, mate. Thank you. Thanks for getting involved. Um, yeah, when Messi announced he was going to leave Barcelona, I did just wonder whether that was bad news from Kane and whether City might refocus their targets on signing Messi and throwing 600-700 grand a week at Messi instead of trying to get Harry Kane out of Spurs. But it looks like Messi's going to PSG. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, I thought that was quite an interesting one, to be fair. But it does look like, after seeing Grealish go to City for 100 million, City have got loads of money to throw around, especially with FFP being somewhat more relaxed this summer as well. I think he'll still end up at City. I think it'll be about 150-ish million at the end. There was talk that there was talk that Levy would be prepared to offer 140 million plus guaranteed add-ons like qualifying for the Champions League and Kane scoring 20 goals a season, and it would trigger bonuses and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens to that one. I did just want to pass comment about Lionel Messi, obviously, because I've not made any footage on my account of it just yet. Obviously, it's historic news that he's leaving Barcelona. I didn't feel sorry for him. I just felt sad that an end of an era where he's probably, solidified himself as, without a doubt, one of the top three players of all time, maybe even the greatest player of all time. The way that he bowed out without even getting to see the fans at the new camp. They couldn't really pay homage to him. They couldn't say goodbye to him or anything like that. I thought that was a very, very sad way for him to end his Barcelona career. But at the end of the day, Barcelona are in an absolute mother of all messes at the moment with the debt. Can't register the players they've bought in this summer. I saw something today. They still need to try and clear 140 million euros worth of debt before they can even register Depay, Aguero, and Eric Garcia that they bought in this summer. So, Barca fans, if you're hoping to try and replace Lionel Messi, it's not going to happen. But yeah, it's just a real shame that Messi has gone out like this, leaving his Barcelona career like this. Obviously, what was it? He scored over 700 goals for them. He's been there for 21 years, grew up as a kid there, come through La Masia with, PK and Cesc Fabregas, I know, was very close to him as well. You just need to have a look at I saw a tweet the other day that the Barcelona TV channel were posting it was like a video of every single one of his goals. It started at 11 o'clock at night and ended at 5:30 in the morning, which just goes to show how many goals he's scored for him. It's absolutely mental. But yeah, it's a real shame. It's even more of a shame that he's going to PSG. I've got to be honest with you. I feel that, obviously, with PSG, you got Mbappe and Neymar there already. They've obviously found a way to work around FFP because Neymar's on, I think it's like 600 grand a week. Messi's going to be on 25 million a year after tax. And Mbappe, they're renegotiating for 25 million a year after tax as well. So, the rest of that league have absolutely not got a hope, have they? It just ramps the pressure up on Pochettino, after years and years and years of him at Spurs dealing with Daniel Levy, he's now gone into a team, and in his first full summer there has been given Donnarumma, Sergio Ramos, Hakimi, Wijnaldum and Lionel Messi in one summer. It's like playing FIFA with the cheat mode unlocked, isn't it? You just sign whoever you want. But make no mistake about it, he's got to do the domestic double. He's definitely got to win Liga, and for me, he's got to win the Champions League with that squad. A front four of Di Maria, Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi is just absolute filth, and he's got to back the goods up now. So, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's just a real shame that he's left Barcelona. I do really, really worry for the Catalan club. So we'll see what happens there. The last thing I just wanted to talk about was Premier League predictions and stuff like that. Obviously, the Premier League starts this Friday night, Brentford against Arsenal. I think that's a good game to get off and running, to be honest. I'm quite curious to see how Brentford do get on this season. Obviously, they play good football. Thomas Frank's a very good manager. He's got them out of the Championship after losing the playoff final 2 seasons ago. They've signed well. I've got to be honest. I was really impressed with Christopher Ayer going there. He's a very, very good player. He did really well at Celtic. He's a young Norwegian lad who can play at the back or as a defensive midfielder. He's good on the ball. I think that even if Brentford do take a couple of hammerings this season, which unfortunately I think they will, I've got a little feeling that he will stay in Premier League regardless of what happens. I'm curious to see how Ivan Toney does. Obviously, I think he scored 30 goals in the Championship last year. He takes penalties as well, but he's been in and out of pre-season. I think he's had a little bit of a mixed pre-season, so that'd be quite interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, in regards to the Premier League, there is so much that could happen this season. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to it. I think that Chelsea signing Lukaku is an absolutely massive signing for them, propels them straight into Premier League. I would say they've moved above Liverpool and Man United into the main contenders to challenge City for the title this season. If they go and get Koundé as well, they should win it, really, which is absolutely mad when you consider just how good City's squad is. But I think that Chelsea under Tuchel, they've got that target man now. Obviously, they created so many chances last year, which Timo Werner wasn't able to put away. I think that now they've gone and got a proper target man striker in Romelu Lukaku who knows where the back of the net is. They should push City very, very far. Like I say, apart from City, I fancy Man United to do well. Obviously, they've gone and got Varane and Sancho, which are two excellent signings this summer, but I think they're a bit short. I think Liverpool might fall a bit short as well. They haven't refreshed the squad. They've lost Wijnaldum, which is huge. I think that not replacing Bobby Firmino is a big, big thing. I think that he's been on the decline for a couple of seasons now, and they needed to go out and get a striker to replace him. Obviously, they've got Jota, but I'm not sure they'll put up a challenge for the title. We'll see how that goes. As for Spurs, well, I think they'll be in that group below the top four with Leicester, West Ham, Arsenal, maybe Everton as well. That will be challenging for a top six spot. A lot of it will be down to Harry Kane and whether he stays or whether he goes. So we'll see what happens there. And as for relegation, Jesus, there's a lot of clubs who I thought would be nailed on for relegation this season. I thought that Palace would be dead and buried, but they've signed very, very well. They signed Michael Olise from Reading, who's a very good player. Joachim Anderson from Fulham/Lyon, who's an excellent player as well. Pre-season, they look to have done very, very well. But unfortunately, I think that Norwich and Brentford will probably struggle. Norwich have got a horrendous start to the season, which will probably set the tone for them. I think Brentford will probably get found out in the Premier League. They'll try and play the right way, but ultimately, I don't think their squad is good enough. And then there are a lot of teams below them. I worry for Southampton this season. Losing Danny Ings is huge. I think they're replacing him with Adam Armstrong from Blackburn, who's a very, very good player. But I just don't think they've got enough about them. The second half of their season last season was absolutely atrocious. So we'll see how that one goes. Burnley, again, they're very poor. They've not strengthened, really. I think they signed a centre-half from Stoke, I think it is. But I'm not familiar with anyone else that they've gone out and signed this summer, to be honest. There are a few teams who, you've just got to consider to be right in amongst it. Obviously, Watford, again, they've not really strengthened too much. They've got Danny Rose, which is a good Premier League signing, but with a lot of the players there who experienced relegation last season, the season before, you'd have to say that they're probably going to struggle as well. So Yeah, that's pretty much it today. I think that I've streamed at kind of the wrong time of the day here. 25 minutes in, there doesn't seem to be anyone viewing. So what I'll do is I'll wait around until half an hour or so, I think, and if we don't get any more questions, then I'll call it a day there. This automatically uploads to YouTube anyway, so we'll just see how it goes. And we'll just we'll do another one maybe later on in the evening, actually, earlier on, later on this week to see how it goes. If there's any news that's come out about Harry Kane or anything like that. So, um, yeah, there was a few. So yeah, I've discussed Spurs. I've discussed City signing Grealish, 100 million, 380 grand a week, which is just absolutely insane. Um, Trying to think of what else there has been that's been going on. To be honest, at the moment there's that obviously we're in that little part of the season at the moment where you know things are just starting to calm down just a little bit before the season kicks off. So I will be very, very interested just to see what happens there. Just checking Sky Sports News now. Romelu Lukaku is having his first part of his medical in Milan ahead of his move to Chelsea. So yeah, that's mad, isn't it? I was reading earlier that apparently with that Lukaku move, he will become the most expensive. Well, the player who has attracted the most transfer fees ever. I think he's going to overtake Neymar. Neymar was 260 something million, and Lukaku's going to be 270 million. Obviously, he's moved around for some big, big fees in his career. I think he went to United for. Did United pay 75 million for him? I think it was. Then he went to Inter Milan for big money, and now Chelsea is signing him back for 100 million, which is just unreal, isn't it? Really. I'm surprised Chelsea let him go in the first place because he's absolutely tailor made for this league. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does. I think he's a really good player, to be fair. But yeah, I do think he's a solid player. I think he'll get at least 20 goals and he'll propel Chelsea right into this season. So just having a look at Sky Sports News, Lionel Messi's received a 2-year contract offer from PSG, rumoured to be 680 grand a week after tax as well. I mean, well, one thing that I found quite interesting the other day was when somebody said that Messi, instead of going to PSG and being guaranteed trophies there, he should go to somewhere like Napoli and follow his idol Diego Maradona and perhaps go and win Serie A or something like that. I think that if he'd go out and do that, that would really cement his reputation as somebody who is the greatest footballer of all time. I think that would be really interesting. But obviously, he's made the decision to maybe go and give that one more go to win the Champions League in his last 2 years at PSG. I mean, like I say earlier, there's no pressure on Pochettino. There is there with the front three of Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, and Messi. I mean, my God, it's absolutely insane, isn't it? But yeah, that's quite interesting. It looks like Messi's arriving in Paris today. There is a rumour that apparently tomorrow PSG have booked out the Eiffel Tower to unveil Messi. With some big glitz and glamour unveiling. So if you're interested in that, I suppose maybe you can watch that as well. Um, but yeah, obviously it's great that football's back now. The Championship and League One and Two, and the National League, I think, all come back this week in England, which is really, really good to see. Um, in regards to who I think will get promoted from the Championship, I really fancy West Brom. I think that Valerian Ismail is a very, very good manager that they've got at West Brom. Obviously, you need to be looking at other teams such as Bournemouth under Scotty Parker as well. I think that's a really, really good appointment for Bournemouth. And obviously, you've got the other teams that have still got Premier League squads such as Sheffield United. They've got Ryan Brewster, Ollie McBurney up front, and a couple of others like that. And Fulham as well. Obviously, Fulham's squad is ridiculous. I think they signed Gazaniga from Spurs, which is a really, really good signing as well. And they've got Marco Silva as manager too. So they'll obviously go strong, but they're just yo-yo clubs, aren't they? Those sorts of teams. I think it was great that Brentford went up because it just stopped those, boring old repetitions of teams coming up, going down, and all that other, all that sort of stuff. So, right, looks like we've hit the half an hour mark, guys. So I'm going to call it an end here because it doesn't look like anyone's about to ask questions at the moment. So, obviously, subscribe to the channel. Click that subscribe bell and the like button if you like this sort of content. Any suggestions that you want me to talk about in the next one, let me know in the comments. Subscribe here. Follow me on my Twitter. It's at Jordan Pomeroy00. And yeah, hope you all have a good week, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. See you later. Bye.